Hello everyone, welcome to UPSC Night. This is August month current affairs of Vision IAS. So first we'll be starting with polity and governance. First topic being subclassification of scheduled castes. So this has been in news in August newspapers because seven judge constitutional bench of Supreme Court in state of Punjab versus Davinder Singh and others held that subclassification of SCs is permissible to grant separate quotas for more backward within the SC category. So what happened is, this is the case. So they have filed a petition in Supreme Court for subclassification of scheduled castes. So let's see. So this was a seven constitutional bench, essentially considering two aspects, which is subclassification and also correctness with the decision of E.V. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh. Let's see what is this E.V. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh. So this is the case. Supreme Court held that subclassification of SCs amounted to tinkering with the presidential list and was therefore violative of Article 341 Clause 2. So in E.V. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh, Supreme Court's opinion was against the subclassification because it amounted to tinkering the presidential list under Article 341 Clause 2. So let's see relative constitutional provisions. So this is Article 14, which is right to equality. State shall not deny any person equality before law and equal protection of laws within the territory of India. These both were different concepts. This is British concept and this is the American concept. So this part calls for reservation. Equality before law is treating everyone equally, whereas equal protection of laws is treating everyone equally in an unequal situations. So for example, reservation is one such example, and for example, making special provisions for women, children, or any other backward class could be an example. We could discuss this in an entire, it could be an entire lecture on this Article 14. So Article 15 Clause 4, 16 Clause 1, which calls for equality of opportunities, and again 16 Clause 4 calls for any provision. State shall make any provisions for reservation and appointment of posts in various backward classes of citizens not adequately represented in services under the state. 341 clause 1 states that president to class specify. So president will make a list to include certain caste, tribes, or races in SC category. So it will be enacted through Parliament. Parliament may by law include or exclude any race, caste, or tribe from the list of scheduled caste by passing a law. Key highlights of the judgment. So let's see. Subclassification within the SCs does not violate Article 341 Clause 2, which is this one. Because castes are not per se included in the included or excluded from the list. So they are not including or excluding, but they are further classifying the present schedule caste. Scope of subclassification of SCs. Objective of any form of affirmative action, including subclassification, is to provide substantive equity of opportunity for backward classes. More further information. State can subclassify based on adequate representation. So this is a judgment. State must collect data for inadequacy or representation. So this subclassification won't be having any effect right now, because both the India government and Indian alliance won't be entertaining this, because they'll be losing vote bank. State is not entitled to reserve 100% of the seats available for SCs in favor of group to the exclusion of other castes in presidential list. Scheduled castes notified under Article 341 Clause 1 of the Constitution are heterogeneous groups of castes, races, or tribes with varying degree of backwardness. Because Supreme Court is saying that they belong to different groups. Heterogeneous means different groups. varying degrees of backwardness, because not everyone is backward. Some are in the middle class, some are in the upper middle class. So let's some are in the privileged class. So Supreme Court calls for subclassification. Four of the seven judges have accepted the creamy layer principle, opined for creamy layer principle in scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. In OBCs, there is creamy layer. So let's see what is creamy layer. Creamy layer is used to identify the members of backward classes who are socially forward and economically stable. So this creamy class will be excluded from reservation. Who are this creamy class? Or let's say the creamy layer, members of backward classes who are socially forward, economically stable, and are more educated. So creamy layer is introduced in backward caste. Other important judicial pronouncements, which is the first one, State of Kerala versus N.M. Thomas, first judgment of the court to use the term creamy layer. So this is a fact. Indra Sawhney versus Union of India in 92. 9 judgments of the Supreme Court emphasized court that government must exclude creamy layer within the OBC category. This has been accepted in the OBC category. E.V. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh. So Supreme Court, the opinion of the Supreme Court was that subclassification within the SCs amounted to tinkering the presidential list and was therefore violative of Article 341 Clause 2. So previously it was saying that it was violative of Article 341 Clause 2, but now it is saying that it is not violative. And again, Jarnail Singh versus Lakshmi Narayan Gupta, Supreme Court opined that application of creamy layer concept to Article 341 and 342 does not tinker with the presidential list. See, here also the opinion has changed. Judicial opinion has changed. So we can see the arguments here for subclassification and against substantive equity, weakest first approach. Governance, subclassification would ensure diverse and efficient governance. Heterogeneous group, prevalence of diverse groups and various struggles and decrease of discrimination within the category of SCs. Legislative competence of legislatures. And again, argument against unity and solidarity. So it could divide scheduled caste community, weakening their collective voice and bargaining power. So within the SC category, there will be division. Purpose of reservation for SCs. Reservation as reparation for historical injustice and not for economic welfare. So this was said in the Supreme Court judgment itself that reservation is for the reparation of historical injustice and not for economic welfare. It is because of social backwardness, not because of economic backwardness. It is said in Supreme Court judgment as well. Stigma of caste discrimination might not fade away with economic mobility. Even if you are rich or poor, caste discrimination will be faced. You can see it in the rural areas. Even the privileged class, even the middle class will be facing caste discrimination just because they are born in particular caste. Even untouchability is practiced in some villages still now. Data limitations. Absence of credible and comprehensive caste census data of various caste groups, because we don't have any caste census. Maybe the last caste census was in 2011. We are in 2024 now. Maybe they'll conduct census. The opposition leaders or the political parties in UP and Bihar are demanding caste census. So let's see how it goes. Potential for misuse. Apprehension of potential political tinkering by parties in power in states to expand vote banks. So caste has been the vote bank for many years now. So that is what it is saying. It could be misused. So this is the conclusion is very big. You don't have to mug up the entire thing. You can come up with better conclusions with if you read more and more editorials from Indian Express and Indian Express and this one Hindu newspaper. So for the sake of understanding, you can read this. So let's see what is this centrally sponsored scheme. Why is this in news? Apart from the expenditure reforms, Niti Aayog has initiated a process for revamping centrally sponsored schemes. So, initiated, nothing has happened, has just initiated, no developments. So, let's see. Development Monitoring and Evaluation Office DMEO of Niti Aayog has invited proposals to engage consultancy firms to. So, nothing is important this one. You just have to know what is the centrally sponsored scheme. So, this is centrally sponsored scheme. So, this is a definition. CSS are the schemes that are funded jointly by center and state by 60 is to 40 funding. In Himalayan state it would be 90 is to 10. Don't have to remember. So some examples type of CSS core schemes comprise National Development Agenda. These were Green Revolution is very old. Mantri Krishi Sanchay Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, Swachh Bharat Mission. These are all old schemes. Don't have to remember it. Just a basic reading is necessary. 6 schemes for social protection and social inclusion. Manrega is in news. Manrega is always in news. You could read about Manrega. Again, optional schemes. States are free to choose the ones they wish to implement. Funds for these are allocated by Ministry of Finance, Border Area Development Program, Shama Prasad Mukherjee Rural and Urban Mission. This Shama Prasad Mukherjee is an important personality because he has appeared in 2024 prelims question. He is a founder of Bharatiya Janata Party. All transfer to states for CSS are being routed through the consolidated fund of states. Following the recommendation of 14th Finance Commission, abolition of plan non-plan distinction from 2017, CSS and CS have become primary mode of specific purpose transfers. So we can see here funding pattern for core schemes. What are the core schemes? These are the core schemes. Green Revolution, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sanchay Yojana. So let's see what will be the funding. So it will be 60-40 in states, normal general states which have legislatures, and 3 Himalayan states and 8 northeastern states will receive 90 to 10. So generally this has given us 3 Himalayan states, but just let's see what are these Himalayan states. According to Niti Aayog, these are all the Himalayan states. There are 13 states which include JNK, Ladakh, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Assam and West Bengal. Even West Bengal. Rationale of CSS. Not required. General reading is required. That's it. So, citizens' participation towards good governance. This is from governance part of POLITY, GS paper 2. So, government has launched My Government platform, which has completed 10 years. So, we'll see what is this. So, this is the platform. So, 10 years anniversary has happened. So, in this platform, you could discuss. The polls will be conducted with the government. You can talk. You can perform. You can participate in quiz. You can pledge. You could campaign. So let's see what is in the campaign. Poshan Abhiyan. So various blah blah blah. So it is because of this scheme. So that's what it has given. So there are certain government campaigns which were launched through that platform. So one of the campaign is live campaign. What is live campaign? This is live campaign. Live campaign It stands for Lifestyle for Environment, which was launched in 26th 26 UNFCCC, which is COP26, which was held in Glasgow in UK. So what was the aim of that life mission? So let's see. Following three prolonged strategy, nudging individuals to practice simple yet effective environment friendly actions and their daily lives. So these are the goals. Enabling industries and markets to respond swiftly to changing demand. To influence government and industrial policy to support both sustainable consumption and production. So Mission Life was launched by Indian Prime Minister in Glasgow. That you have to remember. It follows three three. It has three aims. So it emboldens the spirit of P3 model, pro planet people. Classic environment question. So there are also other campaigns. Stay safe online, which talks about cyber security. Educate citizens, including specially abled individuals, about online risk safety measures and cyber hygiene to enhance overall cyber safety. Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan through interactive activities and social media engagement. It fosters active public participation in creating a cleaner and healthier India. Millet superfood. This was our most important initiative because 2024 was International Year of Millets. We are promoting millets. Three key pillars of my government. It conducts quiz, innovate ideas, initiative pledges. That is what we have seen. See, pledge, blog, talk, quiz, poll, survey. So this is the government website. So where were we? So we can discuss. Man Ki Baat is conducted. Blah blah. So much of information not needed for the exam. Initiative taken to ensure citizenship participation in good governance. Swachh Bharat Mission. Modi government in this first term has started this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. National Mission for Clean Ganga, which is Namami Gange. It undertaken comprehensive public awareness campaign to foster sense of responsibility and engagement among public to clean and conserve Ganga river. In Digital India, it aims to empower citizens to avail services with more ease and conveniently interact with government. So that's what we can interact with government. You could participate in Man Ki Baat, boosting economic growth and improving lives of citizens. Another one is 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts, amended democratic decentralization. So it is talking about panchayats and urban administration, urban local administration, and also inclusion of various marginalized sections like women in local governance. Citizens Charter. It exercises to build bridge between citizens and administration and to strengthen administration in tune with the needs of citizens. Accessibility, awareness, digital platforms, including policy making. So this is way ahead, which could be suggestive measures. Not much important. Lateral entry into civil services, which has been in news in August. So let's see a basic idea. So the government want to include 45 lateral entry posts of secretary and JS, joint secretary at central, was withdrawn because government was facing so much of backlash from opposition parties and in their party itself, the India, that not to not to entertain such a lateral entry posts of secretary and general secretary, which is generally held by IAS officers. The advertisement for lateral entry was withdrawn due to criticism as there was, and this was the most important thing because there was no quota for SCs, STs, and OBCs. According to letter by Department of Personal Training, the UPSC in 2018, the present arrangement of filing of these posts was deemed and close approximation of deputation where mandatory reservation SC/ST was not necessary. However, if duly eligible, SC/ST OBC candidates are eligible and they should be considered priority may be given to such candidates similarly situated cases for ensuring holistic representation. So there is no quota. How have lateral entries been kept out of ambit of reservation? Reservation is in public jobs and universities is implemented via what is known as 13-point roster. According to this formula, there is no reservation for up to 3 vacancies. In current round of recruitment, UPSC has advertised 45 openings. If these are to be considered a single group, according to the 13 roster point, 6 vacancies would be reserved for SC candidates and 3 for STs, 12 for OBC candidates and 4 for EWS category, which is economically weaker section. But since these vacancies have been advertised separately for each department, all of them were effectively single post vacancies and hence bypass the policy of reservation. In single post cadre, the reservation does not apply and each post can be filled under lateral entry is a single post. Reservation is not applicable. Supreme Court in Akhilesh Kumar Singh versus Ram Dhawan in 2015 held that reservation to single post cadre amounts to 100% reservation and violates Article 16 Clause 1 and 16 Clause 4. So let's see what is about lateral entry. Lateral entry offers recruitment to persons from outside the usual bureaucratic setup. So it is going outside UPSC candidates for certain posts in government departments at mid or senior level positions. It is unlike the traditional hiring system where posts are filed being based on merit through exam conducted by Union Public Service Commission. It is different from appointment of private sector employees for advisory roles. Example, appointment of chief economic advisor, usually prominent economist. So they want to appoint like chief economic advisors. They want advisors for various other department as well for the posts of secretary and joint secretaries. It is a contractual employment for 3 to 5 years. So even with every government would have implemented or let's say appointed their own candidates for 3 to 5 years. This was already implemented in countries such as Australia, USA, UK. Both appoint direct and lateral entry candidates. So this was done with, you don't have to do deep research about this. So this is about the basic idea. Evolution of idea of lateral entry in India. So first it was recommended by Morarji Desai Commission, which was first ARC. It was also recommended by second ARC. It was also recommended again through Parliamentary Standing Committee headed by Shashi Tharoor. It was also recommended by various other Niti Aayog action agendas. So what are the advantages? So there are advantages as well because there are only 442 IAS officers who are working with the central government against the required strength of 1469 officers, which is according to the demands for grants report of Department of Personnel Training. Increase in efficiency and governance, inclusion in domain experts. So it will bring out more expertise in certain areas where traditional or let's say conventional officers who have been in posts such as IAS or IPS officers, they won't be having expertise in each and every area. So they will be hiring from economics, finance, individual from technology, robotics, AI, cryptocurrency, and could bring a fresh perspective to public policy, dealing with departmental necessities. So this could be main points. Most likely this answer won't be asked because lateral entry has been taken back. Short term focus. So these are the arguments against lateral entry. Short term focus, conflict with constitutional mandate. What is this constitutional mandate? Being outside the purview of Indian reservation policy affects larger goal of social justice and equity. Conflict of interest. Private sector individuals may influence government decisions for profit risking revolving door governance. Revolving door governance refers to public officers switching between public service and lobbying roles. Witnessed in USA, we could see in USA. Revolving door governance. Accountability issues. Holding private sector appointees accountable is difficult due to their short tenure. So we can't fire them, we can't cancel their pensions, we can't transfer them. So there won't be any accountability. Lack of grassroots level experience. Administrative rules require diverse experience, not just specialized skills, and understanding local dynamics is crucial. Political interference. So I have said this. Political interference in selection process may promote nepotism and favoritism. Way forward. Reforms in the process of lateral entry, complemented by following steps, would facilitate resolving the issues of vacancies and ensuring competency and merit in system. So these are the suggestive measures. Establishing public administration university. Deputation to private sector. Deputation of IAS IPS officers in private sector will bring in domain expertise and competition. Institutionalize goal setting and tracking for each department. Each ministry and government agencies should set income based goals with a clear timeline. Utilization of capacity building commission, mission Karmayogi, and to impart mid career training. So these IAS and IPS officers, they'll be in service for 30 years. So this is suggesting that mission Karmayogi is an training for IAS IPS officers, and it also calls for mid career training for aligning with role of officers, fostering career management in civil services. Two-tier entry system. D. Subbarao, former RBI governor, recommended two-tier entry in IAS, first usual at 20-30 years, followed by 37-42 years via lateral entry. Such mid-level hiring can bring in expertise from diverse field in civil services. So this topic is not much important because it was cancelled, lateral entry was cancelled. So general understanding is required. So next topic is surrogate advertisements. So why it is in the news? Ministry of Health and Family Welfare recently asked Sports Authority of India and BCCI to take measures to prevent surrogate advertisements of tobacco alcohol by sports persons. So this is not much important, but if you want, you can give basic reading about this. I have highlighted some portion of it. So this is the highlighted part. If you want, you could read it, but I don't think so this will be asked in the exam, but for the sake of little understanding, go through it. So next topic being Uniform Civil Code, which is very important. This has been in news since many months, or let's say it's in the news for last 2 years. And again, a recent development being the Prime Minister of India in his Independence Day speech has mentioned Uniform Civil Code as he called it as something called as a secular civil code. So it will replace present religion based communal civil code. So let's see what is this Uniform Civil Code. Uniform Civil Code refers to a unitary system of personal laws applicable to all irrespective of religion. Presently, all the matters such as marriage, divorce, maintenance, inheritance and options and succession of properties, the laws for the different religions are different. For example, for Hindus we have a Hindu Succession Act. For Muslims we have separate law. For then again for Christians we have separate law. So uniform civil law wants to bring out uniformity in all these marriage, divorce, maintenance for so the Uniform Civil Code wants to bring the uniformity in different religion laws, and it wants to impose one certain uniformity in all certain areas. So the current status being at present, see this is the point I mentioned. Most Indians are governed in such matters by respective religious laws. In Goa, a form of civil code is in practice under Portuguese Civil Code. In 1867, Uttarakhand adopted UCC. So there are only two states in which a uniform civil code is in place, which is Goa and Uttarakhand. 21st Law Commission of India said that formulation of UCC is neither necessary nor desirable at this stage. Rather, reforms must be undertaken on family laws of every religion to make them gender just. Need for UCC. So let's see. Fulfilling constitutional duty, because it was a dream of our constitutional makers. Under Article 44 states, Constitution mandates that state shall endeavor to secure uniform civil code to all its citizens. So it is our constitutional duty. It would advance gender justice, national integration, and equality before law enshrined in Article 14. So it is very important. You have to muck it up, or else you can come up with your own points for the sake of mains answer writing in the topic called Uniform Civil Code. Realizing the needs of contemporary society. Laws, practices dividing the nation based on religion or hindering societal progress must be abolished. An example has been provided. Polygamy is illegal as per Muslim personal law, which is Shariat law, 1937. So, in Muslim personal law, polygamy is legalized. Polygamy is one person marrying different women, having multiple wives, taking multiple wives. So, it could be discarded. Why? Because we have to provide gender just laws. Fulfilling international obligations. So, let's see. Justifying India's membership at various human rights conventions, protocols, including UNHRC. So, it is a basic human right. Basic human right calls for equality between men and women. Simplification of laws. A standardized procedure in matter irrespective of religious background would foster more efficient resolution disputes. So, in every, for example, if we see in the Muslim personal law word, in Muslim personal law, and again in Hindu, the laws are different. It would make judicial process more and more lagging, or let's say it would slow down the judicial process, because interpretation is changing, and for example, talak e biddut was banned. So next point is adapting to modern times. Implementing UCC ensures law align with evolving social landscape, promoting inclusivity and dividing individual freedom. Supreme Court judgment on UCC. First one being Ahmad Khan versus Shahbanu Begum. Gender justice and need for uniformity in personal law. This was the first call of judiciary to uh, uh, let's say implement UCC, but it was ignored in 1985. Sarla Mudgal and others versus Union of India in 1995. Reforming personal laws to prevent misuse. Similar view reflected in Lily Thomas case. And latest one being Shaira Banu versus Union of India in 2017, setting aside talak e biddat, instant irrevocable talak under Shariat Act, is an arbitrary practice. So this talak e biddat is when in a Muslim law where a husband he he says talak 3 times, then it will be then the wife will be divorced instantly. So this practice has been banned under this judgment. Issues associated with implementing UCC against diversity, because our country is diverse. We see many religions, customs, etc. Personal loss has been deeply ingrained in the life of way of life, and imposing UCC would undermine cultural religious identities and would violate religious freedom, such as Article 25 of the Constitution. Lack of consensus. Implementing UCC without consent and agreement of all communities could lead to social unrest. So the people belonging to, let's say, Muslim community, or let's say the other communities, would protest, and would it would result in social unrest, because they have been following such that law which has been granted by their religion. Against cooperative federalism, several experts argued that UCC could encroach upon states' legislative competence, therefore thereby infringing upon principles of cooperative federalism. Way forward, let's see what are the suggestive measures implementing UCC. Consensus building involving various stakeholders, including interfaith dialogues to prevent social discord. So it is asking for interfaith dialogue between different stakeholders. I don't think it will be possible, but it is a suggestive measure. Social and economic impact analysis by taking into consideration political impact on marginalized and vulnerable communities, along with incorporating provisions for them. Third point being education and awareness, building progressive and broad-minded outlook among the people, helping them understand the spirit of UCC. So this is the most important point according to me, educating them. Codification of all personal laws. By codifying laws, one can establish universal principles that promotes fairness. So you can these get up, because these are fairly good points. It could fetch you good marks in mains answer writing. So let's see this legislative impact assessment. Then again, this is governance part. Basic reading is required because legislative impact assessment is rarely heard in news, but it has been in news for this Mumbai slum Dharavi project. So let's see. Recently, it has been used in because two-bench judge of Supreme Court suggested comprehensive statutory audit of Maharashtra Slum Areas Act, and emphasized the reviewing and assessing of implementation statute on integrated, because implementing law is a implementation of statute is an integral part of rule of law. This is an important point. More on the news. Court directive came in response to the several systematic issues in the implementation of the act. Problematic process of land identification as slum areas, provision of accommodation of displaced slum dwellers, etc. So this slum, the project has been given where the slum areas, the individuals of the slum areas will be relocating to another area. So this new area has not been identified, or let's say allocated for slum relocation and for the sake of development. It further emphasized that the executive branch has the constitutional duty to not just implement law but also to monitor it. Courts call for comprehensive statutory audit, highlights need for legislative impact assessment as a systematic approach to evaluate the effectiveness and consequence of enacted law. These are very good points. What is legislative impact assessment? So let's see the general meaning of it. Regulatory impact assessment is also called as regulatory impact assessment. Systematic method used to analyze multidimensional. So you can read this basic introduction. So let's see what is the significance of LIA in India. Evidence-based policy making, legislative quality. LIA can help prevent legal conflicts, ambiguities, and enactment of overlapping laws. Scrutiny of delegated legislations. Response and responsible governance. So this is also very important because midterm course correction and policy revision to address implementation gaps, effectively making the administration more responsive. Periodic assessments of legislative impact can increase transparency and hold lawmakers and implementing agencies accountable. This is the most important part because they will make the law but they won't implement in a timely manner. Compliance with international obligations. LIA helps to ensure the new legislation policies align with India's obligations under various international agreements, including those relating to human rights, trade, etc. So, example has been provided in 2021. Merchandise export from India scheme was replaced by remission of duties or taxes on export products scheme due to non-compliance with WTO norms. Challenges ensuring effective LIA in India. lack of institution, because this has been a very new concept, because this has never been in India. This was for the first time. There is an absence of formal legally binding mandate for conducting LIA in India. Lack of effecting interministerial coordination and working in silos of government departments results in fragmented and incomplete assessments. So, absence of dedicated institutions like UK and Australia, we have dedicated institutions there, but we see no such institutions here. So, some points here. So it is telling about what is a pre-enactment, what is a post-enactment. Post-enactment will be generally the audit, where you could find out if there are any scams or irregularities. Parliamentary scrutiny, then again departmentally related standing committees. It could ask Lok Sabha about the progress of the project taken by them. Other social audit assessment by think tanks such as GTRA, etc. Pre-enactment, then again social sector specific assessment is also required, which states environmental impact assessment, which is very important under Environment Protection Act. Social impact assessment for land acquisition, under land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement, etc. This has been this is the most important point, because if you are trying to develop slum areas, you have to relocate them. Then again, rehabilitation and resettlement is an important aspect, because it will ensure justice for those who are displaced from one area to another area. Parliamentary procedure, referral of bills to standing committees, parliamentary debates and discussion. So debate and discussions can be done in the parliament. And then again, commissions and other bodies, analysis and drafting of laws by law commission, Niti Aayog, etc. Some more information. So bureaucratic inertia, this is also one of the most important point, because procedure oriented administrative culture designed on Weberian bureaucratic principles prioritizes following established procedures over introducing laws, analytical practices. Further, closed bureaucratic system hinders effective coordination with stakeholders, including civil society, policy think tanks, etc. So, one of the most, uh, let's say, defects of our system is our bureaucratic system as well. What can be done to ensure effective LIA in India? Institutional, a dedicated agency or committee like the on lines with UK's Better Regulation Executive under the Ministry of Law and Justice or Niti Aayog. This has been a suggestive measure. And again, legislative process reforms, technology and data driven alliances, capacity building and training, state of infrastructure in district courts. So let's see. There was a report published by Ministry of Law and Justice, empirical study to evaluate daily delivery of justice through improved infrastructure. So let's see key findings of the report. It says 37% of judicial officers have reported lack of adequate space in courtrooms. Human resource sort of shortage of JOs, and lack of adequate training and skill development to effectively manage. Some information on the report has been given. It is a minor news, minor topic, very very minor. Lack of computerization of the offices of District Legal Services Authority and Taluk Legal Services Committee. Ability of advocates to cope up with the technical digitalization and process, increased burden on support staff due to e-court mission. Other important issues with digital courts is lack of cooperation, coordination among. So information is given. Key recommendations. Let's see. Recommendations is very important, because you are supposed to give solutions to the problems. Establish an adequate IT department equipped with latest hardware, software, with sufficiently trained manpower to manage and service at district and taluka courts. More emphasis should be laid on sustaining the filed cases in electronic form filled till the end to increase efficiency. Creation of separate civil and criminal courts headed by separate JOs. So this one, initiatives to improve district courts, centrally sponsored CSOs. So through CSO funding, we have to improve the infrastructure. That is what it says. Second one being National Mission for Justice Delivery and Legal Reforms, 2011 it was given. So we have to implement those reforms by reducing delays and arrears and enhance accountability through structural changes. E-courts, which have become famous during COVID-19, inaugurated mission mode project, computerization of district and subordinate courts. So let's see the next topic, anticipatory bail. It is about 438 of CRPC. So let's see, which is anticipatory bail under SCST's Atrocities Act. It is talking about the act. Two judgment of Supreme Court held that bar on anticipatory bail under Article Section 18 of SCST Prevention Act is not applicable unless prima facie case under act is made against the accused. So prima facie means with the first look of it, it is not applicable unless the first look of the case is made out against the accused. Section 18 of the Act states 438 of CRPC, which provides for anticipatory bail, shall not apply in relation to cases involving offence under the Act. So the Act itself says that anticipatory bail is not permitted under if you are booked under SCST Act. So let's see the key highlights of the judgment. Court observed that mere insult. So insult is not an offence under SCST Act unless the accused had the intention to humiliate based on caste identity. Only intentional slur or intimidation caused by entrenched social norms like untouchability or caste superiority qualifies as a type of insult or intimidation envisioned by the Act. Anticipatory bail, let's see what is it. It is given by or directed by high courts or session courts, metropolitan magistrate to be precise, to release a person on bail apprehending arrest. So if a person believes he is going to be arrested, so he can approach high court or sessions court to get anticipatory bail. So it must be non-bailable offence. For bailable offence, you can get normal bail. For non-bailable offences, you can approach high courts and sessions court. Section 438 of CRPC contained provisions related to anticipatory bail. Under reformed criminal laws, 482 of Bharatiya Nyaya Suraksha Sanhita, which is nothing but CRPC, contains relevant provisions for anticipatory bail. SCST prevention of atrocities to prevent commission of offences against members of SCs, STs, special courts for the trial of such offences, provision for relief and rehabilitation of victims. Salient features: the accused must not be member of SCST offences. So only the member of ST must be he must be a member of caste belong of SC, ST to make a complaint against certain offenders. So he must be a member of SCST. Offences include employing members of SCST for manual scavenging. Even if you are employing members of STs for manual scavenging and dedicating SCST women to deity, temple or Devadasi system, denial of customary right of passage to public place of public resort, among others, if you are preventing them from entering certain place, then you can be booked under SCST Act. It also provides for punishment for neglect of duties under Act made by public servants. Even public servants are can be booked under this Act. Neglect of duties under the Act. Not being a member of SCST. Delimitation Commission. This is very important because this has been appeared in Prelims 2024. So let's see. Supreme Court in Kishore Chandra Changalal Rathod case held that constitutional courts have the power to review orders of Delimitation Commission. So let's see. If an order is manifested arbitrary and irreconcilable to constitutional values. Earlier, Gujarat High Court had dismissed petition challenging delimitation exercise, taking the note of 322 clause 1 of Constitution, which bars interference by court in electoral matters. So, in Article 329 clause A, it says the Supreme Court cannot interfere in delimitation commission. But Supreme Court has said that it could interfere in delimitation commission exercise or the result of delimitation commission, but only if it is manifested arbitrarily or irreconcilable to constitutional values. So even it was in a case Kyoto Holohan. It was in I'm sorry. So about delimitation. Delimitation is a process of fixing number of seats and boundaries of territorial constituencies in each state for Lok Sabha and legislative assemblies. So if this is a Lok Sabha or it is a constituency, it will decide, it will draw the boundaries where the seats will be divided for each constituency. So it can draw constituencies. That is what delimitation commission does. Responsibility of delimitation is assigned to high power body known as delimitation commission or is the boundary commission. Under article 82, delimitation is done by such authority and in such a manner as the parliament by law determine. So the next delimitation will be in 2026. In India, such delimitation commissions have been constituted 4 times, that is in 52, 63, 73 and 2002. That is for the 4 times. In next 2 years, delimitation commission will be constituted again. So let's see in the next topic. It is I don't think it is very important because it is introduced in Rajya Sabha, not yet passed. It will repeal Boilers Act 1923. So boilers are nothing but these machines. So let me show you. So these are the boilers, steam boilers. So it is going to regulate these steam boilers. Earlier, the Indian Boilers Act was amended. It introduced inspection and certification by independent third party inspecting authorities. Not important, not important. So this is important. Central government constituted Central Boilers Board to regulate design, manufacture. So this was done for the first time because key features of the bill. This is the key feature of the bill. It will constitute Central Boilers Board to regulate design, manufacture, erection and use of boiler components. Objective of the bill. Regulation is the main objective, and it is the main goal is to ensure safety of life and property of persons. Prohibiting the use of unregistered and uncertified boilers. Of course, for the safety reasons. Importance of industrial boilers. Boilers deal with burning of fuel in large quantities, attaining high temperature and pressure zones, handling high energy. So this is end of polity. If you like the video, subscribe. Next video will be on international relations. Thank you all.